Welcome to Heidi Relationships. Today, we'll read some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. That would help the channel a lot. Thank you very much in advance.
The first one is titled, Wife Attacked Me. We got into a stupid argument. She had been drinking, which she doesn't do normally because she can get aggressive when she does. That same night I sat her down and expressed my concerns after a second glass, because it's a rabbit hole that has ended in her being physical in the past. She was grateful that I was trying to look out for her, and the conversation actually went quite well. The actual altercation I find difficult to remember, but it ended up with her putting her hands on my neck and pressing into my throat. I remember gasping for air, and she said, "How useful are your self-defense videos now?" I ended up getting out of her embrace and walked to the nearest pub. The staff had to physically keep her from coming in, and they called a taxi for me, and I stayed at a friend's house the night. I'm back at home now. I'm not scared of her. I've been distant and trying to keep to myself, but I don't have anywhere longer term I can go to with my dog. My throat is sore, and I've been feeling dizzy all day, and I have a pounding headache. I want to go to another town to be with my mom, but I can't get any dog-friendly buses there. A user in the comments said, "You need to get out of this living situation before she does worse damage to you or your dog. Ask a friend or coworker for cab fare or a ride to your mother's place. If you can't get there, see if you can stay with a friend or colleague until you can. Best of luck to you." Another user said, "She followed you and had to be restrained from coming in the pub to continue the assault. I think you already know what to do." The next one is titled, Update to the Wife Attack Story. First off, I want to say thank you for the messages of love and support. It meant the world to me during a time when I really felt insecure about myself and unsure of how to proceed. I decided that what happened was something I would never be able to get past, and I ended it. So, I am currently separated from my now ex-wife. Unfortunately, I will not be able to file for divorce until I get back. I am currently with my family in a different country as my parents were diagnosed with cancer, so I'm here to help and support them. My dog is also safe, but she had to stay behind due to the intensity of quarantine here. I miss her every day, but I get photo updates all the time. So, to sum up, it's been a hell of a year. It's taken me a little while to wrap my head around, but I'm slowly starting to look forward to being single for a while. The next one is titled, I, 22F, feel like a prisoner in my relationship with 30M. I met my boyfriend 2 years ago. I was 20 at the time and he was 27. We were close friends at first, but feelings quickly developed. We both rushed being exclusive as we had both just ended long-term relationships, and honestly I can see that was a big mistake on both our parts. Our relationship was tumultuous and honestly a bit toxic from the get-go. He would push me away and be very hot and cold with me. I'd end up in tears more often than not, but eventually he started treating me very well. It's now 2 years later and I currently live with him. I've been living with him and his relatives for about 6 months now. I had to move in with him because I was made homeless, otherwise I wouldn't have rushed this either, or I want to leave. Let me just clarify that I have no idea if what I'm feeling is correct. My gut is telling me this relationship is wrong. He does things for me such as cooking me dinner, fetching me things if I ask, or picking me up and dropping me off to places. However, I feel as though he does these things as a currency in our relationship. He is always holding these things against me. A lot of the time I don't ask for him to go out of his way to do anything for me, but he will. And he won't let me fucking forget it either. He likes to take me places even though I'm able and willing to get the bus. He says he doesn't like the idea of me going on my own, as if I'm a child. He likes to know who I'm meeting up with and for how long. I'm going to university later this year and it's caused a lot of issues with our relationship. I've been realizing more and more that I don't want this relationship anymore. He's forcibly becoming my caretaker more than my BF, and I don't want it. He keeps saying how I've changed and how past me would let him do X or would have liked Y. I think he's in love with who I used to be when I was 20. If he had it his way, I wouldn't be going to uni. My uni is 2 HRS away and I chose that on purpose, not even because of him, but because I want to live somewhere new and meet new people. He would rather me sit in his room and just get a job here in our local city and stay with him forever. He keeps making comments about marrying me. He even fake proposed to me last year as a way to stop me from breaking up with him. I stupidly thought he was for real, but I should have known better when he said he didn't want to tell his relatives and he didn't have a ring. He used the eternity ring he got me for Christmas. He kept using marriage as a way to tie me to him legally, and I recently put a stop to that. Told him I'm not getting married anytime soon, if at all, and it did cause an argument, but he has now stopped making such comments, or jokes as he put it. Last night I tried to break up with him, for the 20th time, and he wouldn't let me, due to me being pretty much completely reliant on him and his relatives for another 4 months. I feel trapped. I don't think I love this man and I am frightened of him. He seems to be love bombing me continuously and I know he is obsessed with me. There's no other word for it. He is obsessed. I've been talking to another guy. He's a mutual friend, kinda, but he's more my friend than my BFS and he thinks my situation is dire. I've been feeling more and more attraction to this guy more than my boyfriend and that is how I know that I don't want to be in a relationship. My BF would rather have an open relationship with me than let me leave at all. He literally told me that. I feel trapped. I can't leave until September, and I've tried to break up with him so many times that I just feel exhausted now. He told me that if I genuinely wanted to leave, he'd let me, but last night I was genuine, and he ignored it. He mollycoddled me and put his arm around me and said, "Just don't stop loving me, you're my girl." I was shaking when he was doing that and was holding back tears and panic. He's frightening me but I don't know what to do. I'm so unhappy but he makes me feel like I owe him love or just myself because he saved me from the streets. I have no family and one friend who can only do so much to help me. He has positioned himself so that I am completely, solely reliant on him and I don't want it. When I try to escape in any way he lashes out and makes me the villain and makes me feel ungrateful or selfish. I know I have to leave. I know uni will be a godsend for so many reasons. What I need advice on is how to survive these next 4 months whilst I'm with him. He's not a bad person. He is a good boyfriend but to a codependent degree. I feel like the main character from that Stephen King novel Misery. I know it's love but it isn't healthy. Any advice would be great. I'm sorry for the long read. A user in the comments said, "I second the other commenter, this sounds like abuse, please leave him, go to university and have a wonderful time focusing on you and your personal development. Also please don't ever feel that your feelings could be wrong. Feelings are not facts and therefore they can never be wrong. You should always at least acknowledge them, especially when it's a strong gut feeling like you described. It definitely sounds like this person is using emotional abuse tactics against you. See a counselor if that is financially possible for you. Make new friends so that you aren't depending on him for all your social contacts. Reach out to your friend and ask them if they could help house you for a little while as you get your feet under you / until you go to uni." Another user said, "This isn't love, he isn't a good boyfriend, and this relationship is downright toxic. He basically made you rely on him so you can't leave, but you absolutely have to leave. Do you really think that in 4 months' time he will just let you pack and go? You also need to stop talking to that guy, for your own safety and his. If your boyfriend is as obsessive as you say, he will start going through your phone and he could potentially hurt you and him too, so just stop. Ask that friend if you can crash on their sofa for a few days or a week or two. If you have a job, make sure you're stashing money away in an account he has no access to. If you don't have a job, get one ASAP so you can actually afford to leave. Rent a room somewhere for the next few months and cut him out of your life. Also, you need to take care of birth control before he babies traps you, and if you're on the pill, make sure he isn't messing with it." The next one is titled, "Update to the Prisoner Story." The update is, I was right, my gut instinct told me the relationship was wrong and I was so correct. What I forgot to mention in my last post was that my ex was obsessed with another woman even before we were together officially. When we were friends he would constantly talk about her, said she was a free spirit and there was something about her that had him pretty much captivated. For months into our relationship he cheated on me with her. He said they only kissed but he is a compulsive liar, so I have no real idea just how far it went, probably all the way, it doesn't even matter anymore. A month after that he continued to talk and play LOL with her even after knowing how much it hurt and broke me when he cheated, he still chose her, again. Well, last night I discovered that he was back in contact with her and not only that, he also had kept a letter she sent him years ago and never told me about it. He also kept mementos from the night he cheated on me, he kept them safe, as he told her. We recently went on a family holiday together near to where the other woman lives. Even then my gut was feeling off. I was right to feel it. He tried multiple times to go off and meet her whilst being on holiday with me. He literally forced me to go on holiday with him only to then try and go meet her. He has been talking to her since May, but I suspect longer. Either way he told her she never left his mind. He told me we were soulmates and that he loved me more than anyone. He was completely full of shit. For months I knew something was off in our relationship. I fucking knew it. And I was completely correct. Trust your gut instincts, they will most likely be spot on. I will no longer be with anyone again. I felt trapped in this abusive relationship only for it to be built on lies and bullshit. Guess I'm glad I'm finally free, only wish I hadn't given him such a chance to hurt me the way he did. Worst part is, he genuinely doesn't care, he even blames me for him cheating. The next one is titled, Ida for asking my boyfriend to charge his family member for fraud. Throwaway account, backstory. I, 27F, and my boyfriend, 34M, have been together 5 years and have worked really hard to save for a house. 2 weeks ago, we fell in love with a house, and we put down an initial deposit to hold the property. The house won't be built until end of 2022. We have been in talks with a mortgage broker and the builder's finance people. Last week we received some shocking news when my boyfriend's credit score came back as being bad. There was activity on the statement that was 100% not his and a credit card that has gone into default over the last 6 months. This credit card was originally my boyfriend's, but he swears he closed the account and cancelled the card mid-2019. Long story short, we discovered that a family member that was living with him a few years ago has gotten a hold of the card at some point and has been using the card on and off since 2019. They defaulted on payments in early 2020 but paid this off, then defaulted again in December of last year, and the account is still in default and over $5,000 is owed in charges and late fees. Charges for shopping, news agency, takeaway food and pubs, gambling. My boyfriend has had zero knowledge of this as he hasn't had access to the account after he closed it and hasn't been receiving statements or notices from the bank. The family member has diverted these to their address. We're now unable to successfully apply for a bank loan for our house as they won't lend to my boyfriend with his credit the way it is. Our options are to proceed with fraud investigations and charges and the family member allowing us to prove this is of no fault of my boyfriend's and successfully secure the loan, or boyfriend pays the debt, and we wait at least 2 years from the payoff date for his credit to regain some loss. Option 2 sets us back at least 3 years in starting a family and our lives as homeowners. This will also not allow my boyfriend to secure a bank loan to start up his own business he's been dreaming of starting for a few years. This was the year he planned on. This has devastated us and put a massive delay in our plans. My boyfriend doesn't like conflict and is going with option 2. He isn't even planning on mentioning anything to the family member. He wants it to all go away and thinks this family member is going through a rough time. I want my boyfriend to proceed with fraud charges and investigation. We have worked too hard to not have our dream house and him owning his own business, so Ida for pushing my opinion on my boyfriend. The next one is titled, Update to the Ida Story. Update. I want to begin by thanking everyone for their advice on my original post. There were some really constructive strategies and words of advice. I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns and was honest with him that things he was telling me didn't all make sense. He was adamant he didn't know anything about the credit card or the apparent inquiries on his credit account about payday loans. My boyfriend is still refusing to open any fraud investigations against his family member and has said he will pay off the debt himself, but some other things came out during our conversation that he was hiding from me. Lying has been a big issue of his during our whole relationship. In the past I have forgiven him for his lies, but I can't keep forgiving the same issue every few months when he promises to change. But we're in the same spot every few months, and I'm not talking little lies, I'm talking big lies and even bigger lies to cover up those lies. I know I'm stupid for giving him the benefit of the doubt. My boyfriend is now my ex-boyfriend. When I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns above, he ended up picking up his bag and walking out on me and drove away. That was the last time I seen him in person. This is how this man dealt with an issue in our 5-year relationship. We haven't spoken much since, but I have definitely resigned to the fact my relationship is over. I think he is expecting me to forgive him like all the previous times. I have packed up his stuff and will return to him after my city comes out of our 6th lockdown. There is a good ending to this story though. I spoke with my mortgage broker and the housing developers. I can't afford the original townhouse I fell in love with alone, but a smaller townhouse that I also loved came available and I've been approved for this one. I paid my deposit 3 days before my birthday last month. I bought a house by myself. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the relationship stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and write a comment. I really appreciate your support and it helps my channel so much. Thank you.